Today we will be learning how to collect a water sample from your home using 5 1-liter bottles. We want to ensure you're collecting your sample properly so that your water provider can better identify the potential source of lead contamination in your home's plumbing. By collecting a 1-liter sample, your water provider can get an idea of which contaminants might be at your faucet or tap plumbing. And by collecting a 5th-liter sample, your water provider can get an idea of what contaminants might be further away from your faucet closer to your home's service line. First, pick a faucet that your household regularly drinks, cooks, or consumes water from. The best faucets to test are your kitchen or a commonly used bathroom faucet. Do not test a faucet that has not been used for consumption, like a basement utility sink or an outside spigot. Before you collect your water sample, please make sure that the water has not been used for a minimum of 6 hours. This includes taking a shower, washing dishes, or even flushing a toilet. We suggest collecting your sample first thing in the morning before anybody else wakes up, or upon returning home from work if no one is at the house during the day. You also need to remove any point-of-use filters at the faucet where you're collecting your sample. Some examples of this could be mounted filters, water softeners, or reverse osmosis systems. We want to bypass these filtration systems to ensure we have an accurate representation of the water that comes directly into your home from the service line. You do not need to remove the aerator, the little screen at the tip of your faucet, prior to collection. Once you have not used any water for at least 6 hours, you've identified where you will collect your sample and have removed any filtration devices, you are ready to collect your water sample. The blue 120 water testing kit that was sent to your home includes 5 bottles. Please remove the 5 bottles from the box and place them in order 1 through 5 on your counter. You also have written sampling instructions, a chain of custody form, and a prepaid return shipping label. Please set all of these documents aside while you prepare to collect your sample. Remove the caps from the bottles labeled 1 through 5. The other bottles should not have caps on them. Be sure to have all 5 bottles laid out in order and ready to go. It is important to have all bottles ready because you will not be turning off your water once you start to fill bottle number 1. Place the bottle labeled number 1 under your faucet. Once you turn your faucet on to fill bottle number 1, you should not turn off your water until all 5 bottles have been filled. With bottle number 1 under the faucet, please turn on your cold water tap and fill the bottle. Without turning the water off, immediately fill bottles 2, 3, 4, and 5, one after the other. Turn off your faucet when all 5 bottles are filled. Tightly screw the caps onto bottles 1 and 5, making sure they do not spill. Dump out the water from bottles 2, 3, and 4. Only bottles 1 and 5 should be sent back to the lab with water in them. Place all 5 bottles back in the box, keeping bottles 1 and 5 that contain water to the far left. Bottles 2, 3, and 4 that do not contain water should be placed on the far right. The final step in your collection process is to fill out the included chain of custody form that was included in the box. This form helps the lab and 120 Water verify where the collected samples came from and that they were collected under appropriate conditions. The chain of custody is required for us to move forward with testing your water sample. Make sure to fill out all areas of the form completely and sign to validate that you collected the water sample from your household. Note that we do not specifically verify that the minimum 6 hours with no water use was met. These fields are called water last used and sample collected, where you will write in the date and the time where the water was last used and the date and time you collected your sample. Once you have filled out the chain of custody form, place it inside your box, close the box, double checking that the 5 bottles, 2 with water and 3 without, and the chain of custody form are included. Now adhere the prepaid return shipping label to the outside of the testing kit. Now you are ready to send your collected sample to the lab for testing. The easiest way to return your sample is to drop off the testing kit at your local post office. If you are in an area where your mail person will pick up packages and send them out for you, you may leave the box on your doorstep for them to grab. It is important to return the testing kit within 3 days of sample collection so the lab and 120 Water can take appropriate steps to test your sample accurately. The lab must discard or cancel any sample that does not arrive to them within 14 days. Thank you for taking the time to ensure your household has safe, clean, and reliable water quality. Testing your water is the first step for you and your family to know what you might be drinking, and is just one of many steps that you can take to keep your family safe and healthy. For more information, please visit 120water.com/resident.